Greetings, fellow Knights of Ren. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. But not really, Dragon. We're talking Star Wars.
Star Wars, nothing but
Okay, don't rip
Wars,
off
nothing
Jeremy
but
Johns. Don't rip off Jeremy Johns. Come on, that's his thing. That's his thing.
Well,
Let him have his
actually, it
song.
might not. It technically isn't.
Well, yeah, it's his thing when it comes to Star Wars trailers, man. Let him have his moment.
I would say it's technically it's technically Kevin Smith's thing. It's also Robot Chicken's thing, so it's kind of everyone's thing.
But
It's like the musical Star Wars thing.
Jeremy Johns is much more important than us. But anyways, so Dragon, of course, the whole internet is talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This thing was released about 12 hours ago, and already we're probably the last people on the face of YouTube to talk about it. So yeah, let's not waste any more time, Dragon. So you wanted to bring up some stuff about Celebration before you begin. Unfortunately, I haven't really had time to look into anything with Celebration, to tell you the truth. So why don't you just briefly touch on that before we dive into it?
Well, speaking of Jeremy Johns, the reason he's kind of on everyone's minds is because right now that young laddie is in beautiful Orlando, Florida, and he's at the actual Star Wars Celebration, which is awesome. It gets together every couple of years. I'm not sure how many in between, but I think they've shortened it. The time used to be a longer, like kind of every 6 years at one point. Now it's scaled down, between movies. I'm not sure how long in between.
I'm pretty sure it's every year now.
Yeah, now it's every year. It's either every year or every other year. It's one of those two. But
I'm pretty sure since there's a new Star Wars movie coming out every year, it's got to be every year at this point.
Yeah, it used to be a more kind of like a special event. I'm not saying it's not special anymore because now they have more Star Wars things. You know what I mean? It's just
Star Wars in general just isn't as special.
What I mean? It's kind of more of an annual thing now. Mm-hmm. And the point is, Star Wars Celebration is really cool. It's kind of like a Star Wars specific Comic-Con, but it's kind of basically imagine getting a San Diego Comic-Con for Star Wars, like all Star Wars, where you get, of course, our wonderful stars, our wonderful production crews and everything who've been involved, and everyone involved in Star Wars in some capacity has been on that stage or been in a panel or something. They always find what they do is around the time of a year when a Star Wars movie is forthcoming, they love to kind of throughout the course of the days, like a Comic-Con, like San Diego goes on for about 4 days, however long Celebration goes on. Basically, every day they kind of tease something, like the image you see before you. This thing was teased on, I want to say, like day 1, and then day 2, if I'm right, day 2, we get the Last Jedi trailer. So Star Wars Celebration's been going pretty good. George Lucas actually appeared.
I heard the Ed Hayden Christensen.
Yes, and basically from what's been talked about, from what I believe Jeremy Johns is going to recap. So I've seen the recap. I intend on watching the full thing, but again, it's been there. You gotta remember, it was so tempting about it. I just love the fact we get like a Star Wars centric channel, has like all these cool Star Wars videos on it, and not us, but I mean, there is a Star Wars channel. Point is, on the Star Wars.
Yeah, because the problem with your sentence is it would imply that our channel is cool.
But you see what they do is like they actually simulcast the Star Wars Celebration live, so you could watch and be sucked down the rabbit hole watching like a bazillion hour long video possibly. Mm-hmm. And so there's a big panel with George Lucas and basically brought everyone out on stage, kind of from 3 generations of Star Wars. Essentially, you get prequels, the original, and the next generation, kind of our new era of Star Wars, kind of the last lap of our trilogy.
Right.
And basically the big thing talking about is like it's kind of unanimous applause and acceptance, like no booing of anyone, no booing of any prequels. There's the unanimous Star Wars love, no individualism. It's all like, oh God, yes.
Which I love, Dragon. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the prequels at all by any stretch, but it's like, it's just good to see such goodwill, especially with all the other craziness that's going on in the world right now, shall we say. And
I will say this. So George Lucas was on stage, and he was kind of weighing in on things. He gave a very kind of honest kind of discussion, because he doesn't know anymore. He's very clear-cut about it in the thing. You get a very honest interview with Lucas on stage when he's saying, like, oh, well, when I sold the rights to Star Wars, I don't have it anymore. So I'm just basically, he's like a fan now, just saying, I'm here because I like Star Wars. Which is really cool. And what I'm really hoping to see, by the way, because it's been a couple of years, and I would hope that they're taking their time to make it. And I hope they get stuff like this in the documentary. But there's
yes, right.
People versus George Lucas 2, which is supposed to cover kind of Lucas selling selling Star Wars and kind of the Force Awakens kind of aftermath and stuff. And I figure now we definitely the aftermath stage of Force Awakens, and maybe that's why it's taking so long. They want to get that in there. The point is, really interesting stuff going on there. And also, we had a loving tribute to Carrie Fisher, which you can watch again on that Star Wars YouTube channel. And it's really, really touching tribute. I love that we have all the access. It's not like you have to like crappy video recording or footage or anything. It's like it's there for you, so you can watch it. You can watch like the Carrie Fisher. Everyone got to see in really nice quality, and it's it was touching. They had like all like the B-roll and the great footage you didn't quite see of like the behind the scenes of shooting Carrie Fisher, really doing the interviews. Her involvement in all the Star Wars stuff, really nice.
Okay, and Dragon, really quick, because you mentioned People versus George Lucas. I've told you this before, but I think it's not the true sequel, but I think the spiritual successor to the People versus George Lucas is a little documentary called The Prequel Strike Back.
Which I have seen.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's good, folks. It's good. It really analyzes.
It's not as engaging or as artfully done as People versus George Lucas, but we really need to talk about People versus George Lucas one of these days.
I thought we already did.
I don't think we did. I don't think so.
Look into it because I thought we did, but if we did, I'm game for talking about it.
Inside baseball here, but that's really what we should do with for May the 5th.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we did it for previous.
May the 4th.
I think we did it for the Force Awakens time of that, but
I don't know.
Anyway, let's get off the inside lightsaber baseball here, which would be very boring because the minute you swing it, you're gonna cut the ball in half and then game's over. But the point is, so day 2, big day 2 of Star Wars Celebration, which it's kind of a magical event. It's kind of it's like a Christmas Star Wars that blankets the Orlando area.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it, man. I'm sure you want to before. Not go through it before we react to the trailer itself. We had speculations about when this thing would be dropped. Would you care to weigh in on that?
I mean, like you and I were just talking about it, like I think last night. That wouldn't it be cool if it was dropped on May the 4th?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is that what you meant in terms of speculation?
But no, we remember all that talk we had when we were doing Thor Ragnarok when we were in Thor Ragnarok V, like, we know Star Wars is going to claim all the money this year. When do you think they're going to drop like the big trailer? If it's going to be like one encompassing trailer, when do you think it's going to drop?
Right. Oh, and also I want to weigh on that. There's some semantic things I want to weigh in on, but we'll get to that like as we go through the trailer. I heard basically, Dragon, I think I got my wires crossed on this a little bit. I doubt this is going to be the only trailer.
To recap for the folks there before I let them go on, basically when we were doing Thor Ragnarok, we got sidetracked in the beginning talking about Star Wars. And when we were talking about Star Wars, we mentioned Tiki informed me. I had no idea this, so I just took his word for it. That Star Wars, the rumor was that Star Wars, they're going to drop, that The Last Jedi was going to drop one trailer, and that was going to be it until we get it for Christmas time. Just one big 2-minute trailer is going to kind of be really big and stuff, and be the only thing we're going to have to hold everyone over until then, which would be kind of a cool theater experience. Basically, a cool experience of like, hey, it's cool we don't have like all these other trailers. We just get one really cool trailer, and it's going to usher our fan desire for it until the big Christmas Day release.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they're going to if they do that. I think it'd be cool, but at the same time, what I heard was that. And what makes me question the fact that if this rumor was valid or not is I heard that it was going to be like a full trailer that wasn't a teaser trailer.
Because this directly is labeled as a teaser trailer.
And it feels like a teaser trailer as well. So
a really cool teaser trailer, but teaser trailer.
Yeah. And that's going to transition right into my initial thoughts on this, Dragon. And my initial thoughts weren't great. My initial thoughts were like, well, I mean, that was cool. It's, I don't know. There's a couple factors here, Dragon. First of all, do you remember that shot I told you about where it was like the X-Wing inside of the giant hangar bay that was flying around like a bird?
I remember you describing that to me, and I can't quite I vaguely recall it in the trailer, teaser trailer.
There is a shot that's like it, but it's not inside the giant hangar bay, like which was described to me. So
Yeah, I remember when you described it to me, it's like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. And I didn't really quite see it. I wasn't looking for it, though, because it's been a while since you
I
brought
guess
it up.
I was looking for it, but
I mean, it's been a while since I've been looking for like descriptions of trailers for this. But.
And I think what this trailer does really well is it very much encapsulates Ryan Johnson's style, which is
yes, very well, yes.
Which is at first it might not seem like the most flashy thing in the world, but oh my god, it's such a tone setter.
Yeah, I think this is definitely building itself as different than the previous one. Because we have like kind of we'll get into it when we break it down. Johnson's style. For me, my reaction is kind of on the whole without getting into the specifics. It was great. I thought it was a great tonal tease of a follow up to Force Awakens. It was a sequel to the new stuff we got versus what they could have done, which I think would have been a little less impressive. Just kind of a heavy Empire homage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I'm glad it. Basically,
Right,
it's like everyone the main complaint with Force Awakens, which still is not like a really like kind of like taking the teeth out of it. It's just saying like, hey, yours is like those other great movies. Basically, it's like Force Awakens is like compared to like it's like the other one, but again, they're trying to familiarize everyone.
I mean, to be fair, I've seen some very accurate videos that go like plot point by plot point comparing it to A New Hope, and it's
the point is, Force Awakens is easing you back into the water of Star Wars. It's like easing you back into okay, this familiar territory, but still we're kind of laying the seeds for our new story, and it's kind of like again, it's new stuff in kind of familiar stuff, and basically now we familiarize ourselves with the universe again. Now we're just jumping forward with the new stuff. It seems.
Right.
So again, this is basically sequel to the new stuff in the trailer. The music I thought was very strong. That's my favorite thing of this thing. When we get into, I love how the music was used. That's a big thing that sold me on the one of the trailers for Force Awakens America. Because I remember the ending of I want to say it was trailer 2. The da 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 da. They use the Yoda lifting the X-wing out of the which just I was like pumping my fist in the air for that 20 seconds. I'm like yes.
I actually think this is some of the best sounding Star Wars music we've ever gotten.
The music here does sound fantastic. Yes.
And that's actually a contrast to the Force Awakens soundtrack, which I was pretty underwhelmed by.
These are the same tracks from Force Awakens.
No, they're not. Are they really?
Yes, they use the same themes from Force Awakens.
So like that music box rendition of the Two Sons theme?
I believe, yes. That one, I'm not sure if I quite caught that. I'm just saying there were reprisals of themes in this thing, so I gotta hear the twin. You gotta point that when the Twin Sons thing is. Maybe it'll come back to me.
It's right at the beginning, but anyways, so without further ado, folks, let's jump into it. Yeah, okay. So, what do you think of this whole pattern we have, Dragon, of the misdirect starting these Star Wars trailers?
I think it's definitely Rian Johnson's style.
I mean, it's Rian Johnson's style for sure, but I also think it's very much an homage to the first teaser for The Force Awakens, where we have that shot of the sand dunes, and we're just like, okay, what is this? Like, are we on Tatooine? What is it? And then suddenly, and this is a very similar thing, although this is even more ambiguous and in the Rian Johnson style. Like
that's what I'm saying. I think this is one of those great teases to kind of what's going to be different between this and the original, where the original is like okay, familiar territory, but kind of okay, well we're back, and yet how are we back here? And then of course, again, it's a little bit of misdirect in terms of like how and where, but now we're in the place of like it's like looks like something again. It's like Rian Johnson basically did kind of like from Mallrats the 3D picture. You're looking for the sailboat.
Right.
So you see how here it's kind of that Rian Johnson. At first, you think you see like space or a planet. It's
such an impressive shot. It really is.
Because at first it looks like again. This is why I'm with you, Dave. I'm very psyched for Rian Johnson. It's like first it looks like space, and then it looks like a planet as we get a little closer. And then of course we have the reveal that it's the ground.
And then jump scare.
That to me is very much like the Finn bit from.
Oh yeah, definitely. Seriously, Dragon, that scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it. That made me legitimately jump.
Now we pick up. Seems very much so. We're picking up the location from the end. Kind of that Jedi temple. Most likely, it's called. The planet's called has a really weird name. I think J.J. Abrams has embraced the weird names of the planets and stores. Like the really weird, like Ek-2. I think that's what this planet's called.
Okay.
Like AHCHTO, Ek-2.
And we just call it Scaling.
All right, because that's the actual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're at Skelling until we hear like the announced a few times.
Right,
And then
right.
we're at Skelling with Ray. It's Ray, good old Daisy Ridley.
Now, Dragon, I also want to point out this pattern of like both trailers, both teaser trailers have started with the character panicked and out of breath.
All right, yeah, you're right. They do both do that. I didn't think of that.
So I'm gonna make a call right now, folks. In 2 years, I want you to go back and like play the tape. When the teaser trailer for episode 9 drops, we're gonna get the same motif, but it's gonna be with Poe Dameron.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, just like I said, I'm calling it right now. Okay.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren would be cool, but I think it'd be I'd like Poe better because I think it'd like be like the trio of the new heroes, you know,
right.
like the new
Poe
Han, Luke, Leia.
And Poe would also be cool, but you know, be even more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
If they could so pull it off. Can you imagine if they have a sew in the bag for Star Wars to the point where they can emote with a droid, just like kind of with BB-8's head, like kind of bobbing up and down for a second, like kind of like. Oh, imagine this! I'm going to sell you on this. You ready?
Okay.
You ready? We have kind of our dramatic reveal, basically to a point where we have where we're at right now. We're kind of like boom. Where you have like you hear like a sound of like kind of like a droid that's kind of like hobbling essentially. Basically, but imagine BB has like a giant gash and he's all circuitry and stuff, and he's like you, as the ball's rolling, and then it's like the reveal as like the last one as the score is like kind of playing that, and the last one's like a big boom, and with that boom, it's in like BB out of breath and like just making like music droid sound.
That's great. That's great. Okay.
Also, real quick, did you see the Omaze thing with Daisy Ridley?
No, I didn't.
They a lot of people think it's a little bit more disappointing than the previous one because the previous one was really awesome with Mark Hamill. He was in a stormtrooper outfit asking people to donate.
Okay.
So for Force for Change Omaze thing, that's what I'm mentioning. So they have this. I thought it was cute and I thought it was really funny. Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill were kind of talking to each other. A lot of people think it's just kind of weird, but I think it's hilarious that basically.
Well, Mark Hamill kind of embraces his weird dad humor, so.
You know what I'm saying? They both were really funny, I thought. Like, basically, they're facing the camera, but we keep cutting to them as if they're sitting across from each other. We don't see them in the same room. But the point is, you got to watch this thing. It's hilarious. Basically, they're showing, they're telling people about the prizes that you can win if you donate like this amount of money or you enter in a raffle or something. I can't quite recall. The point is, like, and one of them is like you get to go to Skywalker Ranch, and Mark Hamill references this, and yeah, you
get to go to like 5 miles away from where I live. Awesome.
You get to go to Skywalker Ranch, and then Daisy Ridley says, "Oh yeah." Basically, she implies she's so cute when she does. Oh, so adorable. she's basically the gag is she hasn't been to Skywalker Ranch, and basically she's pretending like she did. Mark Hamill knows she's lying, and he's trying to catch her in the lie.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
You gotta watch it. It's so hilarious.
Right. Also,
anyways,
one quick prediction about this the shot. I am predicting that it is Luke testing her force powers, and Luke literally shoves her off the side of a mountain to test her force powers.
I think you're right about that. I assume it's like putting force on her somehow. I think the cliff may be a good idea, so I'm on your side on that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so again, Ray.
Okay, now this is the music box theme I'm talking about. It's the Two Sons theme, but it's got that creepy, like, Haunted Mansion style music box attached to it. What do you think?
Here's the thing. I know they did something with the Binary Sun in Force Awakens, and I can't, at the moment, I'm sorry, I can't recall if I've heard.
That's okay. That's okay.
I know everything else is from Force Awakens, though.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we got a good... Now, of course, Dragon, I'm wondering how much screen time is actually going to be spent on Skelling, because...
they had to shoot as much as they could, because they can't shoot there again. This is like all they have for the 3 movies.
Yeah, so it's very curious to me, the fact that at least half of this trailer, from what we see, takes place on Skelling. I'm guessing Skelling's going to be the first act of the movie, and then afterwards, it's kind of like going to be the Jakku of the movie.
I figure it's going to be kind of like the Dagobah Swamp. Basically, it's going to be for an act. It'll be set there.
Sure. And of course, what distinguishes this from Empire is that it'd be, if they were going to do a direct beat by beat Empire, we would see this in the second act. And I think this is going to be like more starting our story out. So, like I said, I like that. I like that it's not just a beat by beat of Empire's story, at least assuming.
It would be neat if, like, the first act's there, and then, like, this place gets destroyed, and then they move on. But then again, sorry, not destroyed. Let me rephrase it. Not destroyed. Basically, let's say something happens that makes Luke have to leave with Rey.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Luke's going to go off world after the first act.
Rey's like, we have to go back to Jakku, and Luke's like, why does everyone want to go back to Jakku? Seriously, I knock The Force Awakens a lot, but that's one of my favorite lines from The Force Awakens. And my God, what a beautiful freaking location Skellig is.
The thing to bring up about Skellig, and a lot of people have been pointing out, and I think they're right in this, is really cool in how they differentiated Skellig, the Skellig planet. I know it's not actually called Skellig, but it's the location. This planet is that I don't believe in any of their Star Wars movies we've seen ocean, so this one's like surrounded by ocean. It's quite beautiful.
I mean, outside of like Rogue One.
Wait a minute.
But even Rogue One, it was more just a beach instead of an ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you. Now I know what you. Yeah, right. They're saying it's beach more than ocean. Yeah, this is like basically the idea here. I believe J.J. Abrams. I listened to the Force Awakens commentary when I had to get it again on DVD. It was annoying, but I got it. Not the commentary. The commentary was cool. I'm just saying I had the fact that I had to buy it again on like the whole 3D Blu. I didn't even have it. The point is, I got it, and it was cool. So I still recommend getting that version. Just hopefully you won't have to get it for a second time. The point is, J.J. Abrams on the commentary, he mentions, I believe, that it was a special thing, kind of like this whole plant. The idea is this whole plant might be covered in ocean, except for this like one land location.
Oh, that's really cool. I love
Possibly.
That. Oh,
I think that's what he said.
Yeah. I could totally.
It's either like this, like the one land location, or it's so sparse. Like basically, the oceans might cover like 90 to 85%.
Like if you've ever played The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, like something like that, where it's just like these huge expanses of water with tiny islands kind of scattered around.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
All right, so let's see. We hear Luke saying, "Breathe, just breathe," and it gives you chills here in Mark Hamill because he didn't even say anything in the previous one.
Now, Dragon, I'm picturing everyone at Warner Brothers when they see this shot being like, "Oh, come on! Come on!
Why did Norris get all this good review?
Oh, God damn it!"
No, of course, this one's actually motivated by force versus just kind of, hey, it's power.
Also, Dragon, I heard something really funny on one of the 1,000 trailer analysts I watched today. Analysts.
Yeah, this means Superman's coming back to life.
No, it's like, wouldn't it be funny if this was actually like Mark Hamill's hand and he just had like super feminine hands?
That would be kind of fun. But yeah, this is another really great money shot of the trailer. I think. This is great.
Definitely.
There's so many great shots in this thing. This one to me is one of my favorites. Just of her using the force and just kind of lifting these little pebbles and rocks. And
I mean, like I said, the one thing is I don't want to say it's derivative of Batman versus Superman because
again, Man of Steel too. They did this in Man.
Right. So I don't know. That's the one thing that kind of bothers. I mean, of course, it looks a lot better than the DC version, just the CG and everything.
I love that it's. You could make the argument that this is derivative of. Well, I mean, that's a stretch. I'm just trying to defend it. It's kind of a derivative in Empire Strikes Back when Luke, lifted the rock when he was lifting Yoda and everything with the Force, lifting a rock. Yes. I'm saying like lifting a rock, and she's lifting. I like that correlation between Empire and this. It's kind of like Luke lifted a big rock, and now she's kind of lifting a bunch of little rocks.
Sure. I think what this implies, it's just like the Force is so strong around her that things, will get lifted up even without her even trying.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful shot right there.
Let's see. Get some great shots of the Jedi Temple of Skellig coming. Oh, sorry. Before that. So yeah, breathe, just breathe. So basically, she is being asked, "What do you see?" So after she's doing, basically, that's probably her getting in tune with the Force. Of course, trailers don't always say that it's not super straightforward, like if that's directly going to lead to this. But we get here's what I'm loving about the trailer most: we get these excellent reprises of the themes and kind of these cool cryptic visuals. So
and the cryptic visuals are just like Rian Johnson 101, which has me super stoked about the style of this movie.
Yeah, and this for me is this whole little thing here. So again, we have basically it's a combination of this. We have the excellent reprisals of the themes, We get the cryptic visuals all tied together with kind of the summation of the Force teachings, as we can presume is like, Luke teaching her about the Force and basically guiding her through maybe some Force-like visions, possibly.
Sure.
So, like right here we have this most likely. I'd be shocked if it isn't. I'm pretty sure this, of course, is the dearly departed Carrie Fisher.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Of course, we hear, light.
Now, a couple things about this. One, it looks like the Rebellion has seriously upgraded their tech and everything from The Force Awakens. Because remember in The Force Awakens, they were in that kind of like bunker style thing, and it was all very...
To be fair, that was a bunker. It's probably where they usually operate.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying, this is like... it looks a lot sleeker. I like it. And secondly, Dragon, I definitely think there's a correlation here where Leia's hair is definitely meant to be stylized like Kylo's hair.
Huh, I never thought.
Think about it. Just look at it.
I remember my theory was that I don't think it's going to come true, but you never know. They did have to, they did alter some stuff with Carrie Fisher's stuff. I mean, we don't know. I remember I was speculating back in the day that Kylo Ren was going to have to, kill the other parent to kind of solidify his place in the dark side.
Mm-hmm. That's not going to be in this movie though, because we already know that Leia's going to be in Episode 9 thanks to archival footage.
That's true. Yeah, and they've shot some for the end of this movie though. Wait, hold it. Are you sure that she's going to be in Episode 9? I thought they redacted that. No,
I did not hear if they redacted that or not.
I'm saying there was a time when I heard that she was not going to be in 9. They reshot the ending of this. They did something different to the ending of this.
Because I heard very recently, like as in like this week recently,
really?
As in this week recently, that they're going to use archival footage, or they're going to like slightly recut her stuff so that they can, spread it throughout the two movies.
Maybe they were considering it, then they changed their mind so they can actually put her in 9. Maybe that's it.
Because I think initially when she passed, I think everyone's focus was just like, you better not Tarkin her. You better not Tarkin her.
Yeah.
And they nobody was even thinking of other alternatives to get her into Episode 9.
Yeah. Okay, well maybe that's it. The point is I wasn't sure. I'm saying, but back before things happened, I was speculating what the next one could be. I figured that was going to be Kylo Ren having to basically like doing the next unforgivable act, which would also give Carrie Fisher an out, which would be killing the mother. I think it was one of the Disney debates. I might have thrown that out there.
Also, Dragon, I'm curious. Have you seen Carrie Fisher's costume in this movie?
No, I have not.
Look it up because I like it because it kind of looks like Princess Leia's, or General Leia in this case, is kind of embracing her hippie side a little bit more. Okay,
but regardless, it's cool. I like that kind of Kylo Ren idea, though. It was kind of big. And
I definitely think that's a thing.
I like the idea of kind of tying her into Kylo Ren because there's still like a story to tell. The reason I've said maybe Kylo Ren has to go because I think there's still, regardless of whether I doubt that's now going to happen. But the point is, I like the idea of tying those two together because again they have a big thing between them now. Of like, okay, Han's dead because of this, and basically it's kind of the fault of the mother now.
Of course.
Yeah, it's now falling on the mother, the responsibility of what happens next. So we'll see if that comes. If there's any correlation there. Speaking of Kylo Ren, yeah. So let me tell you this with the score. So again, I love we had Rey's theme playing before, and now we have Kylo Ren's theme playing, which in itself is really cool. But the way and this is a beautiful shot here. We see kind of the shadow, most likely the remains of Starkiller Base. And this is probably where the helmet eventually landed when it was kicked off the platform. And it's all smashed, and and then as we zoom in, you discover, oh god, it's Kylo Ren telling you, da, 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 da. Oh god, I love that score. It's a great shot to remind you, Kylo Ren, he's damaged, and we know he physically is damaged since his fight with Rey. Now we see the mask is damaged, and I don't think he's gonna wear that mask again. I don't think he's gonna.
No, I don't think so either. I think we're definitely gonna get just like full face Kylo Ren from now on.
I think it's a cool idea. Like again, we homage Vader. Now he's his own man. He's divorcing himself from Vader as he's going for. He's becoming his own character.
And Dre, it kind of makes me go back to that missed opportunity in The Force Awakens where one of the most laughable things in The Force Awakens for me is the moment he takes off the mask and his hair is just freaking perfect.
I don't think it's laughable, Tiki.
I think it's laughable. I think it's literally like parody worthy.
Oh, come on, that's I don't do that.
Oh, look at me take off my hair, and I'm just this pretty boy with these perfect flowing locks. I don't know.
By the way, before we move
Yeah.
forward here, I just want to mention the backtrack with the Carrie Fisher things for a second. I just want to mention, I think it's a really smart choice. They show us, tease a little bit of Carrie Fisher, given that we've lost her recently. That was a classy choice. It was like another way of, again, it's also representing what's going to be a big kind of viewership thing of this, because a lot of people want to see Carrie Fisher's last.
They tease her, but at the same time, they could have easily like had this whole trailer be like a tribute to Carrie Fisher, which I think would have been like overdoing it a little bit. So I think we see her just enough. You know,
yeah,
what
I like
mean?
that we don't see her, we kind of tease her.
Mhm.
Like, we know who that is, but at the same time, we know we've also. It's kind of a good. Like, this is like Rian Johnson directing to me here. Again, there's no telling if he put together the trailer. It's the idea of like, hey, you know, this person's important and we've lost her, but it's like a little. You know, it's kind of like a. When we lose someone, we kind of after time passes, you kind of lose certain like familiarity. It's kind of like it's a little translating the directing a little bit. I don't know.
Sure. And Drake, yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Just seeing this frame, honestly, just kind of gives me chills a little bit with that context, you know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Because
we've lost her.
this is such a pivotal character, not just in the context of Star Wars, but just in the context of, roles for women in film in general.
Absolutely. Woman with a blaster.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so then of course you get the also Kylo Ren shots, Lord Killer Base most likely, darkness. And also, now, I gotta mention
all I'm saying about the Kylo Ren mask thing is that it would have been a lot more effective if he would have taken off that helmet, and it would have been like he would have just had like mangly ass helmet hair.
Okay, now there's something very important I need to mention here. Now I know you didn't catch this, Steve. A lot of people may or may not have catched it. Some of them may have caught it a lot better. I gotta mention this. It's really hard to hear, so I have to spitball a little bit here. But there is some secret audio laid in those two scenes. In the Leia, well, less the Leia, more this scene. Palpatine. The Kylo Ren thing we just saw, and this thing. There are two audio things that are laid underneath this. Now, one of them is someone mentioning the dark side, and I believe that's Palpatine. It sounds like Palpatine. There is a slim chance it could be Obi-Wan talking about the dark side.
It could also be Snoke, perhaps.
You're right, but again, it sounds a little like Palpatine.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. I'm just saying, again, it's really hard to hear. People, if you turn up the volume somehow, hear it. It's underneath as you get closer to the Kylo Ren mask, you can hear it underneath someone mention the dark side. It's probably Palpatine or Snoke. But anyway. Then this one, the bookshelf. This to me is a beautiful shot by Rian Johnson because it looks so kind of expressionistic.
I love the production design on it. Yeah,
it looks so weird because like from an angle, it's so kind of like I guess expression. I don't know. It's like kind of that. I don't know what kind of artistic term I'm looking for here. It's like squint your eyes. Abstract. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Very abstract. Because again, it looks kind of like an overhead shot, and it's at the same time it looks like initially you think it's a bookshelf. And like it's an overhead shot. Is like kind of like a weird cave thing. Got this light shining down, and we see it's most likely a Jedi symbol of some kind. And underneath this, there is a voice. I can't quite tell what he's saying, but the voice to me sounds like it might be Yoda.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Again, I can't verify. It's a Jedi of some kind, Yoda or Obi-Wan, possibly Yoda. Speaking.
Okay. Anyway, of course, we get the
gloved hand, mysterious glove.
I'm excited. Like, I think this movie could potentially be the gateway drug that casual fans need to get into the like ancient mythology of Star Wars and eventually lead to a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the cool thing they're kind of setting themselves up for right now. But they're not reaching back into the prequels, but they're kind of going past the prequels, the older days. So that seems to be kind of a smart kind of move. Like, well, we're going to tell you.
If I were Bob Iger, which obviously I'm not, but
are you sure you're talking about Iger this time?
Yes. If I were Bob Iger, I would, after 7, 8, and 9, I would go back and I would do a trilogy of Knights of the Old Republic before continuing on with 10, 11, 12.
It sounds cool, but I would run a darn good story to kind of justify that, though. But
Knights of the Old Republic is a darn good story.
I'm saying I'm unfamiliar. I'm just saying that's cool.
I'm unfamiliar too. I just know how much love it gets.
I'm
fascinated by that time period. So
exactly, I'm just saying because it's a big gamble, that one. That's kind of your the equivalent to That's somewhat the equivalent to kind of like how we've branched out in the R-rated films, in that we have no familiarity. None of the characters would be like Obi-Wan wouldn't be in the movie. There'd be no familiar Star Wars characters. Just be people with lightsabers, which has a cool level too. But at the same time, like you can't have probably there's a chance you couldn't. You might not even have droids in it.
I'd have to
There's
go
a
back
chance
and
of that.
check.
Again, I don't know. I don't know anything about
check. I'm pretty sure there's droids in the Knights of the Old Republic.
That's fair. That's fair. Again, so I have no idea what I have no bearing on any information. So, folks, if there are droids, don't crucify me. I'm sorry.
Okay. And Knights of the Old Republic could also very possibly be the best video game movie ever made.
That is fair. But then again, we've had some technicalities. You know, again, we've had Assault on Arkham.
Fair.
It's a technicality, but it counts.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, Jedi symbol, gloved hand.
This is my favorite shot. This is my favorite shot.
First, we got Rey training with the lightsaber, and we got Luke standing up there on the hill watching her.
Dragon, to me, this is the most distinct Rian Johnson shot in the trailer.
Rian Johnson, that guy knows where to point a camera, man. I mean, he really does.
It's just like no one else besides him would think to have a shot that's this far away looks so beautiful. You know what I mean?
What's cool about this, then shots like these, all these overhead shots and shots around the sculling, they showcase that the planet's like really isolated aside from this one landmass. It's usually kind of the ocean-coated planet.
Definitely. I don't know. This is like one of the most impressive, like super wide shots I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of the equivalent. It's not quite the same wow factor for me, but it's kind of the equivalent to that shot of the crashed Star Destroyer in the Force Awakens trailer too.
Right. I kind of see that, and also she mentioned that the line. I'm sorry. So again, the reason I said that other voice might have been Obi-Wan is because the line that Luke has, because if it's not Yoda, it might be Owen, is because Luke has this great line. He says, we believe to be it's so much bigger, which to me sounds like he's setting up kind of the Obi-Wan line. You've taken your first, but we heard in Force Awakens, you've taken your first steps, right? In this case, you've taken your first steps into a larger world, which even the Marvel movies ripped off, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I also think it's a lot more ambiguous than the Obi-Wan thing is. I think it's meant to have a darker connotation to it, because I think with Luke, of course, Luke's struggle is going to be like he really wants nothing to do with the Jedi when and of course we're going to get to the line that broke the internet in just a minute here, folks.
Oh yeah, I love how popular that line is, by the way. But yeah, see what I mean? That'd be kind of a cool continuation of the Obi-Wan philosophy. I've always loved that line from Star Wars, and I've loved that as
it's a continuation of the Obi-Wan philosophy, but it's in the context of this darker narrative that we're telling for the middle part of the trilogy.
We'll get into that with the ending in a second. But again, it's even in the Avengers, that's cool. It's a little like you become part of a larger world, Mr. Stark. Yeah. So yes, this Christmas. Oh ho ho.
Okay, now here comes the bird thing.
Oh, this is the bird thing.
Yeah, that's what I don't know, because it kind of got that movement, right, where it looks like it's shot down.
Yeah.
But like I said, what I was hearing from the X-Wing that looks like a shot-down bird, and of course this isn't an X-Wing, obviously, but the X-Wing, maybe the shot-down bird thing is just like a stylization thing on Rian Johnson's part throughout the movie, which would be awesome. Because we've never seen the ships in Star Wars move in that kind of like, frenzied, vulnerable state before in such a realistic way. But like I said,
it's a cool visual.
Mm-hmm. But the shot that I'm referring to, like I said, is essentially like I've heard it described as like a bird flies into a building and it's just like flying around like hopelessly, like flapping around. And it's just like, so it's like this X-Wing in the middle of this giant hangar bay. But
I tell you, I don't think that's the shot they're talking about. Honestly, I don't think this is what they're talking about. If I say that because I really hope what's being described actually describes like a scene where an X-Wing is like kind of trapped inside like a first order hangar of some kind. That'd be awesome.
That's what I got. That's what I got out of it. And I actually think there might be a shot in the trailer that might be a lead into that scene, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Because that to me, just when you describe that to me, it's coming back to me. When you describe that to me, it's like, oh my god, that is such a cool idea. It's kind of a Brad Birdian idea almost. Of like
I said,
you're
I'm
trapped on the inside and you can't get out. It's like Han was stuck. He disguised himself on the outside of of an Imperial starship. In this case, you're trapped on the inside. You're in plain view.
Like I said, I'm hoping that this whole injured bird thing is kind of like a visual motif that Johnson uses, because that would be amazing.
That would be really cool. I gotta agree. That would be a really cool motif.
Also, Dragon, one more thing to note about the that bit of footage that kind of ties into the beginning with the bookends and the tying everything together.
Imperial walkers.
Yeah, but really quick. The first line of that, I think what it was like at a panel or something, and it was like 30 seconds worth of footage. And the first line of that was Luke asking Rey, "Who are you?"
Oh yeah.
Which, of course, that's really cool as well, because it ties into trailer number 2 for The Force Awakens with Maz Kanata asking, "Who are you?"
Cool.
So, like I said, Star Wars is, of course, one of the most masterful things that George Lucas did with Star Wars that I think people are really coming around to with the idea in the prequels. And this is one of the things that is kind of making people see the prequels in a different light, is the whole, the ring theory thing, Dragon. Like, the whole, everything kind of, ties and loops back into each other with Star Wars. That's something that Lucas did masterfully well.
Yeah, Lucas being proven right for the whole symmetry at rhymes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, this is, of course, you get a little bit of futurized Imperial walkers on the outskirts there we just saw. And this, again, visually
Wait. Hold on. Futurized Imperial walkers.
Well, I mean, they're Imperial walkers.
Yeah, you're right. There they are. I didn't even know.
I'm saying it's 30 years later, so that's futurized. They're new Imperial walkers. They're different.
No, but I didn't even notice them in the distance until you pointed them out.
Yeah, there's like a whole fleet of them, see?
Yeah, okay.
No, probably 9 of them. This is,
this looks like kind of like a Hoth-like planet.
Oh, here's the thing. I believe it's actually desert, but it's like white sand, and it's like it's white. And basically, it's so cool. So basically, the ships have this. I call this the crop dusting shot, because I don't know if I don't think the ships are putting that. I think it's like the bottom of them scraping against the land, and that's making these red dust clouds. Which, again, visually looks.
Oh, that's awesome! That's amazing.
I know, right?
What I thought it was like a Vietnam thing, like an Agent Orange parallel or something like that. But
I don't know. I think it's kind of like a battle-scarred landscape. I think it's what he's going. I think it's what Jonathan's going for in that shot. Like, it's like, oh, look at the war-torn, like the bloody land.
Yeah, of course we get.
Good old Poe and BB-8.
Yep. Now, Dragon, this is what I'm thinking might lead us into that hangar bay shot I told you about.
Right.
Poe needs to escape.
What if Poe was in the X-Wing?
Yeah, I think he is. Poe needs to escape. Awesome. He gets into this X-Wing, and he flies out into this larger hangar bay inside the ship he's in, and he gets shot down, and yeah, I'm just envisioning it from here.
That to me sounds so awesome. It sounds so good.
Okay.
Well, we really need a buddy cop show between Poe and BB-8. That's what we really need. Forget ships. Let's have ships.
Oh my god, that Ships movie bombs so hard.
That's a shame, because I like Michael Pena. Dak Shepard's married to Kirsten Bell. Come on. Anyway,
Red Letter Media has this great running joke where it's like anytime there's a super bad idea for a reboot, they do an over the top reaction. Like the first time they did it was for Ben-Hur, and then they did it for Ships as well. They're like,
I remember Ben-Hur. I remember that.
You can't be serious. Ships is a flop. How could it be a flop?
So again, you had Poe Dameron and BB-8 in kind of a buddy cop show, a silly buddy cop show or movie. Again, forget ships. We're talking ships.
Dragon, I love the visual of this right here. It's like 2 frames, but you see this this TIE fighter about to break apart from being shot at.
Yeah. And of course we have the Millennium Falcon. And no, it's not Anthony Mackie.
I gotta say, I think some of the punches seeing the Falcon is taken out a little bit. It's kind of like, yeah, there it is. It's like the 10th most exciting thing in the trailer as opposed to the first most exciting thing in the trailer.
So funny is how again, I think that might be again, it's shows you the difference between how Sony cuts a trailer and how Disney / Lucasfilm cuts a trailer.
Oh my god, yeah.
Think about this, because now we have, again, I don't know how much there is to read, and like it's the brilliance of the movie coming through in a trailer or not, but it seems to me, again, there's like we have all new stuff versus our old stuff has been minimized in the trailer. Again, the Millennium Falcon, the Imperial Walkers, like they're very,
Absolutely, absolutely.
kind of our old stuff's more obscure. And even Luke, we don't really see. He's the
No,
actually
we don't. We don't
we
at
don't. Yeah,
all.
we don't see. We hear Luke, and he's like very very small in that silhouette. You know,
Hmm.
your favorite shot there.
Hmm.
You know, versus
Okay.
cool. I love this. We had just had the blue lights here. Now we have the red one, of course, with with Ray and I don't see what's being said. We're missing anything that's being said.
Minor nitpick here, Dragon. Minor, minor,
Oh, wait
minor
a minute.
nitpick.
I think we missed Finn.
We
Did we?
did miss Finn, but it's just a
Yeah.
quick shot. It's like, look, there's
Well,
Finn. I don't think.
Well, I got to
it's something
speculate
to
on
talk
Finn
about.
for one quick second. I just got to
Sure.
say, I think he's in a new healing tank. Remember how Luke was in the BAFTA tank when he healed in?
Wait. Let me go back. Let me go back to Finn.
Let's see, because that's kind of another
It's
Empire.
like right
connection.
after this.
Should be
Hold on.
right after this.
Yeah. There.
There we go. So,
Oh shoot! God damn it! Sorry.
with
Okay.
Finn here, so yeah, I think might be another vague Empire connection where hey, Luke is in a BAFTA tank, and this is kind of the 30 years later modernized BAFTA tank. It's kind of a healing tank 30 years later. I assume that's where he's at right now.
Honestly, when I first saw the shot, for some reason I just thought he was in a cockpit. But yeah, you're right. He is kind of laying down.
It's definitely you can't really fly a ship when you're sleeping.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't. It's interesting. It's like I wonder how injured he is. Like I wonder if he's gonna. Do you think it's possible that Finn is paralyzed?
Well, he did receive a very severe spinal cord injury.
Uh huh.
Because remember, Kylo Ren with his lightsaber, because what the injuries that Finn sustained, if I'm remembering correctly, kind of doing that that Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange video when he analyzed all the damages in Marvel. But if I'm right, Finn he took one of the kind of the hilt saber ends to his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then he was like probably thrown against some branches, and then of course the most damaging one is that when he's basically Kylo Ren took the lightsaber like right up his back, which right up against the spine. So
Which is what I think would maybe paralyze him.
however, the doctor said he's going to be fine. So was she just saying he's going to live, or was she saying like, oh, he'll be fine?
I mean, I'm just saying if he still needs a BAFTA tank, however long.
Yeah, I remember though. It's not just given what we've seen at that race scene. It suggests that we're going to pick up right where that left off. So this could just be.
I want to mention that, Dragon. I hope to God that's not the case. I really hope to God that's not the case. I really, 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 really don't want them to break the tradition.
That would again, but though it would be. That's what this film might be all about. We're kind of breaking traditions a little, and that's kind of what it's going to be going forward.
I really don't want it to pick up exactly where it left off. I want it to at least be like some time has passed.
I don't know. I mean, would it be the worst thing in the world?
I mean, no, it wouldn't be the
new.
worst thing in the world, but saying it's the worst thing in the world is kind of hyperbole.
Fine,
I still
would
wouldn't
it-
be happy with it.
Well, I mean, again, it's like that would be a way of showing they're okay. They're own. We're growing into this new Star Wars universe. Where
You
this
know what?
stuff
I
fit in.
think the spin-offs are. I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent, Dragon. I think it's important to differ, especially with how similar The Force Awakens was. But I think that's just in terms of plot points. I think there's certain traditions with Star Wars that you really need to keep intact, and I really do think not just jumping right into the story from a cliffhanger is an important tradition with Star Wars.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll always have. Well, I guess the big way we'll be able to tell. I mean, right off the bat, would be the opening crawl. If the opening crawl tells us what's happened in between, yeah, that's the thing. Either if the opening crawl just recaps Force Awakens, then that'll be the way to tell it. If the crawl just recaps Force Awakens,
Right,
then of course
right.
that'll be the big tell of like, oh wow, we're just going to start right off where we
And
left
that's
off.
what I'm saying, Dragon. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love the tradition in Star Wars movies where there's so much stuff that happens in between the movies that we need that crawl to catch us up. It's like we're always in the middle of the story.
Okay, let me throw two things at you here, real quick. So these are Rian Johnson specific things. So.
Mhm.
What about like in Looper? In Looper, I don't believe Ozymandias did, but in Looper, you know how we kind of we go through the passage of time.
Yeah.
would that be acceptable to you? If basically we do the traditional, okay, it's set months later, but when let's say we start, for example, with let's say we start with Kylo Ren, so it's kind of be where we begin the story. Like, okay, he's being taken in, basically, like we parallel Rey and Kylo Ren being trained, perhaps. And we see a glimpse of, okay, what's happened to Kylo Ren, because last we saw he was kind of dead, even though he was not dead, but he's carted off. And then at some point, whenever we link up with Rey's story, and we start off when the big moment, everyone's kind of wondering about, like, oh god, what was Luke's first words? And then we have a sequence like Looper, which kind of would take us through, like, okay, time has passed, and then we catch up where our story actually starts off. How would you feel about that?
I mean, that's a good compromise.
It would be new, because we're going to have new stuff at some point.
Yeah.
No things would include, like, maybe, I assume we could get a flashback.
I don't want flashbacks. I think flashbacks would be taking it too far. I think that's a structural thing that Star Wars I don't.
There is a scene in this that I think I'm on the camp that I'm saying the flashback theory is going on, but I think we're linking up with what Rey saw.
I think any flashbacks that we see in Star Wars have to be Force visions.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wait, I think yeah, okay, go on. So,
right. Shoot, I had one other point here. Damn it, I lost it. Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I got it. So here's another alternative, Dragon. What if the movie starts and we get the Lucasfilm logo, right?
Yeah.
But then instead of seeing a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we cut right to the cliffhanger from The Force Awakens, and we see that play out. And we see just a very quick interaction between Rey and Luke, like basically maybe we could, like just a very quick exchanging of words. Luke says something kind of profound. Then the camera pans up to the stars, and we get a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away and Star Wars, and then the crawl.
That would be cool, but again, that's going to be groundbreaking. If they do, it's going to be a big first.
But if they did it like that, I think I'd really like it, because it would be like kind of like, yeah, because my whole thing is like I just want the crawl to be a time jump. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, again, we'll see. Again, that'll be the big determining factor, Tiki. If you see the crawl recap it, or if you see like the crawl telling what happens after she met Luke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So as it goes forward here, okay, Poe and his old pal BB-8.
Just a couple shots we've already gone over.
Falcon running parallels. Okay.
Small nitpick. I think Kylo's face should be more messed up.
Well, again, it's like he's obscured, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you think there's more to his scar than what we've seen?
There was a photo floating around that he has like yellow eyes and stuff. Like, he's gonna be more messed up. He's gonna be pale and stuff. Like, it's like a bad shot. It might become a Force vision. We don't know.
I don't think it's Force vision, but
well, I'm saying not a good enough shot to judge. All right.
Okay.
Now,
is this the flashback you're talking about?
I'm saying this could be one of two ways. I don't think it's a flashback. I think the smart bet on this is that when this shot links up to the awesome shot we saw in Force Awakens, where Luke had the metal hand in R2. Remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Now
that
was, of course, a Force vision, much like we've seen in Anakin Skywalker and Luke. Of course, they're going to have visions of the future, and I believe this is the future being linked up to.
Oh, you think this is the future? Really?
I think this. I'm not saying she's envisioning the future. I'm saying what we're experiencing now is what she saw in Force Awakens being the future. I think we're linking up with the future here.
Because I would have thought that this would definitely be the Jedi, Luke's Jedi temple burning to the ground, and Luke just being like, "What have we done, R2?" That's
the thing. That's where the debate is. Either this is a flashback to when Kylo Ren went south, or what I think this is. I think this is after. Rey shows up, and because we see Captain Phasma in the fire come up.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, you're absolutely.
So here's the thing: a lot of people initially thought these were the Knights of Ren, but that's Captain Phasma, which implies this could, unless Captain Phasma was there, but we saw Knights of Ren in that Force vision. I'm pretty sure this is the presence. They Captain Phasma found her, which I kind of called way back when during those Star Wars Disney debates with my Christmas bench.
Wait, what do you call exactly?
It's ridiculous, but I called Rey and Luke having to face off against Captain Phasma during the Life Day special week.
Oh God!
Yeah, basically taking place after Force Awakens, and it's silly, but I'm just saying. Okay. But the point is, I think it's a safe bet. Like what Rey envisioned was this moment here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think this movie,
Barricade.
like, I do not envy Rian Johnson for having to go up against Rogue One in terms of space battles,
Oh, yeah.
but darn it, it looks cool. It looks cool.
Yeah. You have we're doing a barricade. We're doing it right. Way better than the prequels did the barricades. I mean, say what you will about the prequels, defending them or not, barricades wasn't really the strong suit.
Okay, so Luke says it's time for the Jedi, and everyone is like, "Yes, yes, it's time for the Jedi to come back." Yes, okay, awesome, Luke, awesome.
This line had my jaw fell open. Oh my god, it's so interesting. It's time for the Jedi to end.
Yes, yes, all right.
Oh god, just hearing Mark Hamill deliver. It's to end. Oh yes, and then of course what we see after that.
This is a great kind of parallel to the cave in Empire, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So again, like after he says that, and then of course we see Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I also love how super dramatic the music is here.
Yes, because I mean that's a big dramatic moment. Luke saying it's time for the Jedi to end. Like, oh my god. Oh boy, so where to start with that? Oh boy. So I think it's fascinating that Luke. The thing that some people have pointed out, like Max Landis, I believe, the whole Mary Sue thing.
Sure.
Then again, whether you agree with that or not, that's not really the point. The point is, I
do agree with it in The Force Awakens, but I think Rey has the potential to. I just think I like the writing on the Rey character. I just think like plot wise is kind of questionable. Anyways, go ahead.
The point is, whether you agree with it or not, Luke is a character who, as we've seen in the original trilogy, Luke, the main crux of Luke's character is this kid kind of going out into the world, and then he kind of finds out about his father, and then of course it's kind of the child becoming their father, the child becoming their parent sort of story. And with that, I mean, Luke never really we never really saw a lot of Luke's film. We never really I'm not going to say we haven't seen Luke's film. I mean, we haven't. Luke is a character. There's always been room to see more. Of course, a lot of people have expanded upon his character and all the comics and then the stuff on the side. That's where we really get into Luke's character. Of course, a lot of that's kind of nowadays. It's been, the old stuff's been kind of written out.
Of course.
Luke's character's always been. We've always wanted to see what's next for Luke after the end of Star Wars. We always want to know. We've always wanted to fill in the blanks. That's what we're doing now. I
think one of the most famous Star Wars stories was Dark Empire.
Sure. And with those stories, just in general, when we tell the kind of the Star Wars stories in the comics, we always want to kind of fill in the gaps. We always want like the in-betweens of these films, or in many cases, the aftermath. And this, to me, is like a great way of kind of. It strikes me, they're telling you, they're fleshing out Luke's character. Like, okay, if you were Luke Skywalker, you went through all the horrible stuff. You went through, again, the first movie, folks. I mean, again, as much as dark as Empire, let's not forget the first movie. His aunt and uncle are burned alive.
People just kind of casually forget about that.
And he literally has no place. He'll just be alone on a farm in Tatooine. So he really has nowhere else to go. So he said he has nothing left. There's nothing left for me. That's a depressing line. So this kid's had it rough. And then he gets out in the world and finds out, oh my God, my father's like one of the big bad guys in the galaxy here. And then of course, the third one, Luke kind of flirts with going over to the dark side a little, because again, he almost gives in to his kind of the dark impulses. He's got so it makes sense that the sign we've been setting up for all of the Star Wars, especially in the prequels, is that
there is a history with the Skywalker lineage of this struggle between the light and the dark.
And more so with that, especially with Anakin Skywalker, the whole story of Anakin Skywalker is that the Jedi are flawed. Jedi aren't perfect. As much as we talk up the Jedi, I mean, Luke is kind of raised, and as we saw in the trilogy, he's been told, the Jedi, there's a light side, and it's the side you stick with. It's anything else, it's going to be dark side leads you down like really bad paths. And his father came from that, as we learned in the prequels. I mean, Anakin Skywalker, he came from a good place when he was going to join the dark side. He wanted to do it to help the people he loved. I mean, does it make you a bad guy if you love people? Again, I think Luke, just after all that time, 30 years later, and more specifically for another reason, more specifically for the fact that, hey, I tried to embody, I tried to carry on what the Jedi set up, and you know what the Jedi set up was flawed, and because I was just carrying on this flawed philosophy, I ruined my sister's kid, and he turned into a monster, and I failed. Basically, Luke's exiled himself, most likely, for for failure, and he just feels bad, but he just feels betrayed by the Jedi. And it's like, look, the Jedi brought nothing but betrayal. Maybe he's looked into the past. Maybe that explains that bookshelf shot. He's looked into the Jedi. He's looked into this. Maybe that's why he's on Skelling right now.
I think that's definitely at least part of the reason why he's on Skelling, or at
He's
least
definitely
why he chose Skelling as location for his exile at the very least.
I think just as the image we're looking at right now, there's a reason Luke is kind of faced against Kylo Ren in this kind of divide here.
Okay, you know what? It's interesting because Luke's position in this poster is the traditional villain position.
Yeah, and again, looking at Luke as again in ways becoming his father, and that he's a mixed character, and that he's again good intentions, but he's brought about something really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think looking at the complexities of are the Jedi necessarily good guys? Looking at is the Jedi way to go? And again, it's Luke blaming himself and kind of blaming this whole thing he just wants out of it. It's like basically it's kind of looking at him as very much like kind of we looked at things with Han Solo in the previous one. It's like kind of a meta take on things to some extent. Where with Luke, it's it's like what happens when you kind of you get tired of Star Wars.
right.
It's in a way, it's somewhat of a meta commentary on Force Awakens. Well, again, you got everything you wanted back, and some nostalgia comes back, and it's great, but you can't carry on. Like you got to embrace the new stuff. That's why Han Solo has to go. And with Luke, it's like, okay, I'm coming back, but you know what? I'm coming back. I'm not necessarily gonna be happy about coming back.
Also, a very important thing that Daisy Ridley's been talking about in terms of this character arc with her and Rey is that I love this comparison she's making. She's like, basically, the whole thing it's like it's like a cautionary tale, like a cautionary.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, don't meet your heroes. Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's. I think you're right.
I think there's going to be some genuinely super dark and depressing stuff with Luke. I mean, everyone's expecting Luke to come in and be this super kick-ass Gandalf style, like mystical wizard. But I don't think so. I think he's going to be a depressed, broken man. And Dragon, one of the things I'm actually going to be surprised if this doesn't come to fruition. I think this episode is going to be a reversal of the Yoda and Luke story arc, where Rey is going to be the person that ends up. Luke might be training Rey, but I think Luke needs Rey more than Rey needs Luke. You know what I'm getting at?
I think you're right, and I love what you're saying right now. But let me throw this at you. It's kind of dawned on me. I'm really excited about this. So, imagine this. Imagine that. Where we find Luke as a character, especially in how he looks. Think about this. Luke is an example of what if Anakin Skywalker stayed the path of the Jedi, and he ended up he stayed with. Let's just say he never wavered. He stood with kind of the teachings of the Jedi. He ended basically the way Anakin turned out would be, let's say he would. I'm saying Luke would turn out how Anakin would have turned out had he stayed on the light path.
I like that.
To be unhappy and looking a lot like Obi-Wan. That's why Luke looks a lot like Obi-Wan. I'm not saying Anakin would look a lot like Obi-Wan. You see what I'm saying? Though, basically, you'd be the Obi-Wan, kind of become the emotionless loner Jedi who has nothing to live for except for dwelling on his own failures. This is where we link up with Obi-Wan in A New Hope. He's dwelling on his own failures alone. Luke is the only hope he has left, and now that is through Rey. It's like Luke's a failure until Rey comes along.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just saying, I think that's where you go. And basically, because I'm saying Luke is living his father's potential experience. Like, if you stay with the light side, you're living a darker existence because of that. It says light. And I think a theory that's been floating around, I'm really excited by it. Let me run this by you. This is my big theory for how they're going to carry out the rest of the Star Wars universe here for this 9. And I just kind of blew my mind was mentioned, is that what if after this movie we get rid of the connotation between light side and dark side?
I definitely think that's a factor for sure.
And we could analyze this again. Look at the image from the poster. Like, can we zoom? Can we see more of it?
Give me one moment.
My point is, look at the 3 characters on this poster here, which are Luke, Kylo Ren, and Rey here. Again, kind of our 3 of our pivotal characters, all representative of especially Luke from just that last line. That hey, the signs that were so clear cut back in the olden days. Light side, dark side, good, bad, white hat, black hat. doesn't really mean anything anymore. We have complexities, as we saw with Kylo Ren in the previous one. You know, with Rey possibly, as Luke will probably show, there's a lot of darkness associated with the light side. Luke's
Yeah.
is that by the end of this movie, what if we just kind of it's all gray? You know, it's all like we just eradicate kind of the notions of light side, dark side through Luke Skywalker, the super familiar character, and of course,
I really like that.
in Empire,
That'd be a super cool like fundamental shift in the Star Wars mythology.
And again, if the movie's all about ushering us in forward in Star Wars, like the ultimate outcome of Star Wars, which again we know the familiarity stories, we know like the original trilogy at the back of our hands, and we know the prequels reasonably well.
Reasonably well.
We know reasonably well, but they have like a bazillion characters. So some of them you can only know them if you buy the toys. You know, my point is like kind of like Luke. Luke in the original trilogy, they have white, gray, and black. And he's best known for wearing the gray. But again, there's the white, gray, and black. He's embodied those three kind of types.
Sure.
And he ended up on black, and I think that's kind of a good omen for his character. That hey, he's still going to have a lot of darkness, and still have some darkness to wade through. But again, we get rid of all the complexities moving forward. It's going to be a very original, logical step in the Star Wars universe. Okay, well, we've had these labels that we're so familiar with Star Wars. Like, what's the next untapped potential? Well, what if those meant nothing? What if those are just kind of from your Knights of the Knights of Old Republic? Is that it?
Yeah.
The Knights of Old Republic there, maybe way back when. I'm assuming I'm just maybe reading into what those tomes could be about. Maybe this could have rocked Luke's world a little bit. Maybe he's contending with this revelation that, hey, the Jedi's misinterpreted this. They interpreted it broke down the two sides, but no, that was what they made up to make them feel better.
Mm-hmm.
What if again that was the only way we could sleep at night? Again, there are good guys and bad guys. We're gonna do terrible stuff to each other. Basically, there's unbalance of good and evil in this world. And the only way we justify is making up that it was a balance.
It's interesting because I almost kind of feel like the moral ambiguity displayed with the rebels in Rogue One was kind of like dipping the toes in the water of that concept.
Yeah. I think Rey. Honestly, I think where Rey's arc might be heading from this into the next one could be that let's say we have that revelation. Okay, there is no in this film again. We're going forward in Star Wars, take untapped potential in Star Wars, unexplored territory, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Where Rey makes this revelation again. She's like maybe in this. Oh my God. like Empire. Luke he rushes off to face Vader, and of course he has a huge revelation. I like the this is all speculatory, but I like the idea that we're not copying the story. We're not copying story points like super kind of nostalgically homaging things like in Force Awakens, but we're taking the ideas from the movie and applying them to this movie. The ideas of Empire and applying them here.
Yeah, totally.
Rey. Rey's trying to understand her enemy like Luke tried to understand Vader on Dagobah. And in doing so, at the end, she has a revelation that her big arc of like, okay, there is no light and dark side. Kylo Ren's a complex guy. He did kill Han Solo, which I'm really not happy about, but he has reasons. He's convincing himself of a lie, and I feel some sympathy for him because I understand the Force better than he is. I'm more adept to it. He just doesn't understand. He's been living a lie, and he's been going down this wrong path. He's a puppet manipulated by people. I got to take down Snoke. In some ways, feel like he's on a path to maybe save Kylo Ren by trying to set him straight, and it could be kind of a tragic kind of like redemption of Kylo Ren, even though he's done terrible things, because again, it's like a misled path. Am I selling you on any of that?
Honestly, a little.
I'm not saying she's going to succeed. I'm just saying.
I'm a little bit hesitant about the redemption of Kylo Ren, to tell you the truth. I've said this before in other videos, but I think it'd be more bold to just like have Kylo Ren just keep going further and further and further down the dark side, basically by his own self-destructive nature. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a tragedy.
Yeah, well, what if we build the redemption? He doesn't to show you not everyone can be redeemed. Some people are just too far gone.
I like that. I like that idea.
What if we go him down the Vader of basically? It's going to be a weird comparison.
Okay.
It's okay. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. You okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just kind of like losing a bit of wind here, but.
Well, basically, what if
nothing to do with you cutting me off or anything?
Yeah, because I started to feel self-conscious. Like, oh god.
No, it's just getting late. It's just getting late.
What if we did kind of this bizarre killing joke ending?
Oh god.
I know, weird comparison, but go with me on it.
Yes, it is a weird comparison.
Let's go with me.
So is Finn Barbara Gordon because he's paralyzed?
Oh, would you? My point is that by the third one, we're in kind of our Return of the Jedi mode, where basically the big decisions made, where we just monsterized. Is that a word? We've made Kylo Ren more monstrous and more in line with the dark side.
Dehumanized him, I think, would be the word we're looking for.
Sure. We Sith the bed with Kylo Ren. The point is, Kylo Ren keeps getting deeper and deeper. He's become this more kind of mangled. Basically, he becomes kind of the scarred Darth Vader as the films go on. Basically, he's representative of the visual of Vader, which of course deep down Vader wasn't. Vader has moment of redemption. We keep building that moment up where Rey's like trying to approach him, kind of like Batman does the Joker and Killing Joke of like, hey, let me help you. Again, Joker's not all these monstrous things. He offers him genuinely, hey, let me. Basically, that one moment in the rainbow to him is like, hey, let me help you. And then Joker just tells him sorrowfully, he considers it. He says, no, it's too late for me. What if Kylo Ren has a moment like that where, again, she sees kind of like, deep down, again, he started off as something pure, just went down, this further down this dark, twisted rabbit, like, hey, why don't you can stop now. You can just, why don't you stop doing these terrible things? Just, there's no light side, no dark side. Why don't you just stop what you're doing? Stop hurting people. And he just says, I've killed my mother. I'm sorry, not mother. I've killed my father, and I don't know what he's going to do. I'm on the mindset. Sorry. I've killed my father. I've ruined my relationship with my mother. I've burned all my bridges. There's nothing left for me. I cannot come to your side. I am sorry.
Okay, yeah, I like that, where it's basically like we have sympathy for him, but at the same time, like he's openly acknowledging, like, yeah, I've done some messed up stuff. Dragon, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this Lost reference here for any Lost fans. It's kind of like how Benjamin Linus's character arc ends up. And Dragon, you like Benjamin Linus. It's kind of a tie to the Joker because that's Michael Emerson.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of it kind of fits somehow.
I keep forgetting Emerson was in Lost.
Yeah. Emerson is the best part of Lost, Dragon. I'm telling you. Emerson and Terry O'Quinn.
I think I could buy that. But like, imagine this. Like, I'm not saying like let's give Kylo Ren a beard or anything, but I'm just saying like, I'm not ruling it out. But like by the last one, what if he becomes like Luke Skywalker again? Becomes kind of his mentor. Like he becomes the damaged version of Luke we have now at the end. Again, more in line with the Vader thing. He becomes just that more damaged version of him, but he didn't have a Rey to save him. By the time Rey gets to him, it's too late.
Sure. Yeah, anyways, Dragon, I feel like we should be wrapping this up, but I have a couple quick notes to say about the poster that I haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, like we said, I just think it's endlessly fascinating. Like, I could just, like, roll around in my head for hours the possibilities just in the position of Luke on this poster in the traditional villain pose. And I think what this is trying to represent is we have Luke on one side overpowering Kylo. I think in Kylo's mind that represents Luke essentially being the big evil, like kind of Darth Vader style figure in the galaxy.
Kylo probably idolized Luke because he was the son of Darth Vader.
So in Kylo's mind, Luke is sort of this ultimate like Anakin Skywalker like traitor. You know what I mean? In his own world.
Traitor.
Oh God.
Yeah, but you know what's really great about this poster? I love that she's in the pose of the Jedi symbol. But also, and this is a weird theory.
Yeah.
Somehow combined Luke's lightsaber with Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Okay, that was the next thing I was going to bring up is that like the way that the lightsaber is, it does kind of have the the two side. Like I know it's just like the J.J. Abrams like beam of light thing, the lens flare, but you do have like kind of the crossguard action going on there, and I think that is very intentional visually.
Yes, Jedi's usually build their own lightsabers. That's traditionally how they do because Luke built his own in Return of the Jedi Sims.
And of course, the lightsaber, when you look at it, it goes from blue to red. So I actually think it is very intentionally a combination of the two lightsabers.
And it's kind of cool and symbolic when you think. But again, if we erase the lines between dark and light side, again, blue and red would be a great mixture.
So like right in the middle, this white area, that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, again, right in between these two. It's really...
Right. So, Dragon, we're at this point, we're just like breaking down colors of lightsabers, which means we've hit like uber levels of like, we've hit the trenches of Star Wars.
Well, don't you want to speculate about Cloud City because there are vague clouds in the trailer? And we got stars. I'm sure if we look close enough, we could find
constellations.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sure there's a THX 1138 there somewhere.
Okay, I'm actually looking like you can actually kind of like vaguely see a TR next to Kylo Ren's face. Do you see that? Kind of
I'm looking.
TR.
T. I see an R.
You see the R,
I
yeah.
see the R. I think I'm looking for the. I'll
The
go. I'll
T's
try.
more vague. The T's more vague. It's basically like there's a horizontal line and then there's like one dot to represent the vertical line.
Mhm.
TR. What could TR mean, Dragon? Let's speculate about that for another 20 minutes.
No, it's not trademark. It's a trade.
Teddy Roosevelt. That's the twist.
Traitorous rebellion. Tom Rothman, you son of a.
Okay.
You sewed his mouth shut. I'm never gonna forgive you.
Oh man. All right.
No, I'm kidding. Tom,
Okay.
it worked out though. Okay.
All right, Dragon. Any last words on the trailer, though? In all seriousness.
Again, trailer. I was very satisfied. Trailer again. Just the best part for me is the musical reprises with those great shots. And again, it's the last bit. Of course, everyone's favorite part is the last bit. Again, the last bit just informs so much character. Again, I can't get enough of Mark Hamill. I wish he'd do more movies.
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, see you later.
May the force be with you.
Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?